developer of rgbDesigner, an app for iPad. Today I want to answer a simple question with a demonstration. What does the app do? rgbDesigner is an app for choosing colours, mixing them together and then turning them into images. It's all pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work through that process. I'm going to choose some colours, I'm going to mix them together, and then I'm going to create some images so we can see what the app's able to do without too much detailed explanation. Alright, so I'm going to start by choosing some colours. Alright, I'm going to start with the blue, fill that out into the palette. I like some other blues here, so I'm just going to grab them in. I might be blending that together. But I'd also like to get some other colours. I'll go with the red. Alright, and let's get some greens and browns as well. Alright, pretty easy to copy colours with your palettes. It's not just about the colours you choose, you can also use them to set proportions of colours as to how they appear in the image and your gradients, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. Alright, let's get a bunch of browns going on as well. Alright, that'll do, I think. Let's just copy a few of those. Alright, so this is choosing colours off an image, but there's many other ways you can do it. I think if you're familiar with those old CMYK books, you'd have an understanding of swatches like this, where you can have RGB based off red, so I can set the amount of red, and then that gives me a range across the other mixes. I can do the same with green and blue. I can also set hue and choose the colours from there. So let's get a few more browns from there. Alrighty. I can edit in detail if I want to. I don't just nudge that bit more red into that and go, alright, that's good, happy with that. And I've now created my first palette, so I'm just going to go into the thing and I'm going to save it, test palette. There it is, and we're away. Alright, so I've got some colours. Now I'm going to mix them together into a gradient. So there's simple ways. I've got gradient patterns I can use straight away, which just moves to the palette. There we go. That gives me that one. I didn't want that. I actually want to be on the new palette I've created, so I'm just going to select the green button here, give that another try. Go, alright, yep, I'm liking that. What do I want to do today? I think I want to go with something a bit more naturalistic, so I'm going to focus on these browny green colours. So I can choose a range of colours. There we go, and then I can expand that out to fill the whole range. And there we go. I've got some green and brown colours. I can lay something over the top. I'm going to have a single colour with a bit of some edge bleed on it. So I'm going to select this point here and I'm going to add some red in there. Alright, so I've got my new gradient. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And now I'm going to turn that into an image. So, when you go into the image screen, there's your current gradient. That's the gradient that's going to be used to make the image. You've got different styles of images you can use. This is a new one, Touche Corners, I'm working on. But there's a whole bunch of other generators that you can select. So I'm going to go with corners. This is a new one that I've just been working on, so I quite like that one. And as you see, when you select a new generator, whether it's a very simple one like linear that only has 2 parameters, or something like corners has a lot more, you simply set the parameters to what you want and that will affect what the image is generated. Alright, so let's just see what happens when we use the default settings. Alright, so that's a bit neon-y and a bit colourful. So what else can I do? I can select the size of the image. I'm going to use this for the iPad, so I'm going to go with iPad size. Notice there's a random switch here. You can turn random off once you get settings you like and you want to fine tune it. Some images generators have no random in it at all, so that button won't appear. Alright, so by setting these different values, I can get a different style of image. So I've got my width set to 50 pixels at the moment. So if I increase that, all of a sudden I've got a much wider section. My line width is currently at 50%. Let's drop that down to 15%, see what happens. All right, now my line within each square is different, a lot thinner, and now I'm going to introduce an outline of my thing. So currently my outline's off, but I'm going to go with a white outline now. I'm going to set the width to 200% and 50% opacity. So let's give that a try. Okay, now I've got a white outline. Background, I'm going to have a background. Once again, choose a color and just a touch of background color to overgo the squares. All right, so there we have a variety of images. You can simply keep clicking the render button and that will generate new varieties. And when you get to something that you really like, you go, all right, that one's working for me. You can click on the image, get a full-size preview. And if you're happy with that, you can click the share button, either save it to your thing, save it to your photos, or you can airdrop it to another computer, which is what I do a lot. Often when I'm working on graphics projects, I've got my iPad there, I'm generating images, I'm doing the graphic project on my iMac, and I just airdrop the images across. And whether I'm doing some graphic design or I'm working on a 3D project with textures, I can just drop them straight in. So there's a whole bunch of different generators. There's the basics, linear, radial, sweep, square, noise. I think everyone's familiar with that. A bunch of different grids. There's lines. There's concentrics, optokinetic effects, plasmas, and circles. So lots of options, and this is one of the main areas where we're in constant development with the app, introducing new generators to help you create with color in lots of different ways. Okay, hope that gives you some idea of how the app works and how you can use it. We look forward to speaking to you more soon.